So it appears like the left yet again got rolled, got duped, and Pramila, Jayapal and the Progressive Caucus are so pathetic. They went right along with doing the thing they said they wouldn't do. Namely, in the House, the two bills didn't pass together. You got vague commitments that the other, Build Back Better will pass by November 15th, and we're waiting on the CBO score to determine it. As if the CBO score matters. Guys, the bipartisan infrastructure deal added to the deficit. Nobody said, oh, that's a non-starter for that, but it would be a non-starter for Build Back Better. What a joke. If you want their commitment, they could just vote yes on the bill right now. No, it's, November 15th, maybe. See, what happened was the sun was in my eyes, and me and Craig and them was down by the Safeway. And anyway, new phone, who dis? You guys are pathetic. So anyway, the left did a terrible job. Terrible job here. They got rolled. They voted for the bipartisan infrastructure deal, didn't get the Build Back Better deal through the House. Never mind what the hell's going to go on in the Senate. So as these negotiations were ongoing, Cenk Uygur had Congressman Khanna on the Young Turks. And, man, he does an amazing job here holding his feet to the fire. Take a look at this.
But bro, you didn't. But you got it. Look, let's just do one thing at a time. You guys said that you would not vote in the House until the Senate passed Build Back Better. You're now saying no, we withdraw our position. You have to say that's true because it is true, right?
Well, there was a disagreement. There were different opinions, but certainly our chair, Pramila Jayapal, said initially, I don't know how she framed it, that we want some ironclad.
I can read a New York Times quote for you. Progressive Democrats warned the House leadership that a majority of their members will withhold their support for a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill until the Senate passes a second, far larger package containing their spending priorities. That's a fact. So
yeah, but the challenge is if we really were to hold to that, we'd have nothing. I mean, you really would then the president's agenda would not happen, and we'd move on to the next issue.
But hold on, Representative Khanna, that's of course not true, right? So you wouldn't have it yet. Hold on, you wouldn't have it yet, and then what would happen next is pressure would then go back to Manchin and Sinema, and they would say, well, the progressives are holding the line, and they're doing the same exact thing that Manchin and Sinema are doing. Manchin and Sinema are drawing red lines all over you guys.
So, look, all personal stuff aside, I know TYT and Cenk and them, they're not too happy with me. They're not big fans of Kyle Kulinski at the moment. I get it. Neither is Jimmy Dore. I get it. But got to call balls and strikes. And the fact of the matter is, Cenk's 100% right, and I think Khanna is wrong. They don't even view fighting in a real way as an option. They don't even view it as an option because it violates civility and decorum. Now, where I might have a slight disagreement with Cenk is that really is the last ditch effort is to go nuclear publicly and just immediately portray them as public enemy number one and basically sick the dogs of the voting base on them. Make them like America's most wanted, if you will. Put all the blame squarely on them. That is a last ditch effort. But the thing that could have happened and should have happened before it ever got to that is Joe Biden, if he actually cared about the specifics of this bill, which he does not. As I told you guys a million times, he would have called Sinema and Manchin into his office, and he would have done the old mafia boss move. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. It's going to be carrot or stick approach. It's going to be, listen, you can be my best friend if you want to be my best friend. Kyrsten Sinema, you want to be in my administration? Do you have somebody in your family who wants to be in my administration? Do you have somebody close to you who wants to be in my administration? Do you want an extra subsidy for more infrastructure in Arizona? Do you want some federal building named after you? I'll give you whatever you want if you vote for the $3.5 trillion bill as it is. Now, if you don't do it, well, you raised nearly $1 million from Big Pharma, and you're doing their bidding. So maybe, just maybe, we go on a public crusade against you and call that fact out and call out all your donors specifically, and we primary you with somebody from the left, and they have full institutional backing from the Democratic Party. And maybe I also take a look at how many campaign finance violations you've had. I have, the DOJ and Merrick Garland take a look at that. and maybe there's some charges that can be brought against you. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying you should probably do the right thing, or maybe something like that might happen. You know what I'm saying? Joe Manchin, same thing. He's an even clearer example. How many times have I told you guys? His family is a crime family. His daughter is caught dead to rights on email talking about, how do we come up with a rationalization to jack prices for the EpiPens? Just completely rationalizing price gouging for Big Pharma. Caught red-handed. You're telling me Joe Biden couldn't make Joe Manchin an offer he can't refuse based on those facts? And again, all this stuff would have been behind the scenes. You talk to Joe and you say, listen, I like you. You're a nice guy. You're a good guy. You know, I'm old. You know, apparently Biden calls him JoJo. Cringeworthy, but, you know, zombie Biden half asleep. Hey, JoJo, I got a deal for you, buddy. Wait, where am I? Anyway, so here's the thing that I want to do for you. Listen, JoJo, what we're going to do is I'll build another military base for you in West Virginia. I'll give you more money for an infrastructure project in West Virginia. Do you want to be in my administration? Does somebody in your family want to be in my administration? I'm going to hook you up. I want to hook you up, but I need your vote. And if I don't get your vote, well, there's quite a bit of dirt on your family. There's quite a bit of dirt on your daughter. It's honestly, if I'm being honest, she should be in prison either way. She should be. Honestly, Joe, you should be in prison. You made how much money? $5 million from it. Joe Manchin's Dirty Empire was the title of the article in The Intercept. Go read that article. It details all the ways in which Joe Manchin makes money from the fossil fuel industry. Look, man, you're a criminal. You're corrupt. You were bribed. We have you caught. Your daughter's a criminal. Now, I don't want to have to look into that. I don't want Merrick Garland to have to look into that. But they're going to follow the law. They're going to uphold the law. Justice is supposed to be blind. I don't care that you're powerful and connected. So, but if I get your vote, you can just be my best friend. It's on you. Talk to you soon. If you did that, it is very likely, because they're just human, these people. They're just human. It's very likely Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema say, okay, you got it. And you know what? Maybe they don't. But you know what they might say? I can't do 3.5 trillion. I could do 3 trillion. I can't do 3.5 trillion. I could do 2.8 trillion. You could have gotten that done, but you have to care and you have to want it and you have to be willing to act like FDR or LBJ, arm twist. You're the president of the United States. Now, if that fails, then Cenk is right. You unleash the dogs. The one thing that these people care about, above and beyond everything, is their reputation. My reputation here in Washington, D.C., I'm a gentleman and a scholar, yes. That's what they care about. So, yeah, if you, as President of the United States, wage a bully pulpit campaign against 2 already unpopular senators, that has consequences. Remember when Trump would get, some Republican would say something against Trump, and Trump would go on a crusade and want their head on a platter, and he would go in on Twitter, and then overnight, everybody on the Republican side would be like, we hate this person. This isn't a Republican, this is a rhino. Trump is right and you're wrong. And at the time, Biden had a high approval rating too. He could have used that to his advantage. He could have leveraged that. And you go on this public crusade against them, make them public enemy number 1, make them America's most wanted, and yeah, again, they're only human. They're only human. Tell them, come out and explain it. Go ahead. Hey, Joe Manchin, why are you against 80% of the people in your own state? Look at the provisions of Build Back Better. Look at how popular they are. You need to go explain to people in your own state why you're against their interests. Don't give me this hokey, I'm a West Virginia Democrat. No, because if you were, you'd be in favor of the bill. You're not a West Virginia Democrat. You're a corrupt Democrat. You're a corporatist. You're representing industry over the people. Even more Republicans support a lot of the Build Back Better provisions than don't. So there is no way around that. Wage a campaign in public. Literally call them Republicans. Say, hey, you know what? You're in the wrong party. Go join the other party. We don't want you in this party. You're the problem. You're blocking the agenda of the American people because you're bought by industry. Yeah, I'm the president, and I just said that in an address to the nation at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I dare you. Prove me wrong. Vote for the bill. Prove me wrong. Vote for the bill. Make me eat my words. Vote for the bill. But they didn't do any of this. And they didn't do any of this because Biden doesn't really care about the specifics. And he's an old school backslapping politician. He's not FDR. He's not LBJ. He's not even JFK. You know, and progressively over time, what do we get? From Bill Clinton onwards, you got these Democrats that are half Republican. That's what it is. And so there are consequences to that. Now, this is a great example of somebody holding a congressman accountable. Because if you're not willing to use that tool, if you're not willing to go to that extent, then you have nothing. You have nothing. The only piece of leverage that the left created for themselves was, we're going to keep these two bills linked together. Ro Khanna ultimately saying, yeah, we went back on that. Okay, so now you have zero leverage at all, period. Nothing. Now you're relying on the goodwill of somebody like Joe Biden and some assholes bought by pharma in the House. We got their commitment. They'd vote for this by November 15th. Their commit. You know how you can commit to getting a bill passed? Vote for it right now. And they could have done that, and they didn't do that because they don't want to do that. So either nothing's going to pass, or they're going to water it down even more, and that thing will pass, and it'll be flipped back on the left, and they'll say, well, now you got to vote for this one too. Now you have to sign off on the worst version of this. You had Biden exactly where you wanted him. And you had the corporate Democrats where you wanted them. But you gave away all the leverage. You squandered all the leverage. And you couldn't even extract executive orders from Biden. So we're going to get peanuts. If you show you're willing to accept peanuts, you know what you're going to get? Peanuts. And that's what's happened with the left over and over and over and over and over and over. And the saddest thing is, guys, it wasn't that hard. All you needed was a coalition of like fewer than 10 more. Let's say you had 15 left Congress people who are really left, who are actually left, and they know how to fight, and they're leaders. Then you could have tanked the bipartisan infrastructure deal. And you could have kept insisting they go together or they don't go at all. We're not kidding. We're not bluffing. Then you'd still have that leverage. But they don't. There's only 6 of them at best who are willing to really walk the walk and talk the talk here. And even then, you don't know, ultimately, would they have voted for any watered down piece of shit if the bill went from $10 trillion to $6 trillion to $3.5 trillion to $2 trillion to $1.75 trillion? If it went all the way down to $900 billion, would the left have fallen in line and voted for that too if they went together? Maybe, probably. But it's beyond pathetic because anybody who even believes in the right ideas lacks the basic strategy to win. And again, this is an example of somebody who just talks about politics and covers politics, trying to explain proper strategy to somebody who's in Congress. In a world that made sense, it'd be the other way around. It would be, the expert strategist would clearly be the congressperson, but there are no left people who do strategy and leadership correctly in Congress, and they've proven that time and time and time again.